Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Do you know why tonight is a thunderous theatrical great night?
Because this is the gateway to DragonCon.
Well, I was going to say it's Thursday night. But
In
the gateway to DragonCon works
in AWA this weekend too?
Yep.
The craziness. And then there's a shit ton, there's a ton of sporting events that are happening in the downtown area as well.
That was always
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Entertaining part of going to DragonCon in MARTA in the morning, because if you're going to the parade to get in MARTA about 8 or 9 to make it there in time, and as you go down there, you see other people in sports jerseys and other fandoms getting on, and you see the two people look at each other, and they have these look in their eyes like, who is this other being? But then an amazing thing usually happens. People start talking to each other. Like,
oh my God!
Like, who are you? What are you?
Talking to each other.
Like, oh my gosh, that's so cool!
Yeah.
And it's amazing what happens when you get into a confined space and people talk to each other with respect and awe and wondering. So it really is actually really fun to be doing the MARTA thing, because you get to interact and seeing people's faces and having those conversations is quite entertaining to see the looks in their face. We're like, okay, these people are crazy, but they're not like crazy, gonna go off the rails. Just fun crazy.
I agree. So, first of all, you saw that I caught myself doing a swear word. That is one of the red flags that all of our videos are getting as of late because of the foul language that is basically coming out of my mouth. So I will try to refrain.
Who actually watches our videos and flags share stuff?
It's an algorithm. It basically looks for any kind of like pronunciation of words that would be inappropriate for those who are looking for shows to advertise on.
Well, that's just dumb.
I know. Well, anyway,
swear words have feelings too, man.
I know. Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, Zealeus.
What's up, Home Slice?
Well, I think we've already basically broke that down, but basically, I am going to be staying home this weekend.
Tomorrow after work, I'm heading down to DragonCon. It'll be 4 days of stupidity and great fun.
Any helpful hints on what we could expect from the master of costume, Zealeus?
So I was very excited when I went to a cosplay garage sale about 3 weekends ago.
There's a cosplay garage sale? Or is it a garage sale where you got cosplay pieces?
No, it was actually like advertised as a cosplay garage sale that was like a month before DragonCon for obvious reasons. So it's kind of split between people selling their old stuff and like a few shops selling like new stuff, whatever. So I was walking around and trying to find stuff, and for a while I've been looking for the brown pinstripe suit.
Did you find it?
Yes.
Oh man!
I know. I've been looking at thrift stores for the last like 6 months, and like I didn't know that. I'm not really a fashion savant, so I never really paid attention. I had no idea that nobody actually wears brown pinstripe suits.
No.
They don't exist. I'm like, blue pinstripes everywhere. I already have one. I don't care. I was looking for the brown pinstripe. And then so not DragonCon, but the garage sale, I find it, pick it up, I try on the jacket, I'm like, this is great. The guy behind me is like, did you find that here? I'm like, yeah. He's like, can I have it? Nope. I've been looking for this, buddy. So yes, I finally found my brown pinstripe suit. I actually had to go to the Goodwill store after work because I don't actually own any white shirts, white dress shirts.
Just out of curiosity, how much did it cost you at Goodwill?
$40.
For a white shirt?
No, sorry, the white shirt, $6.
Yeah. Okay.
The brown pinstripe suit was $40.
That's.
I was fine with that.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
the white Oxford, that was $6.
That's.
I'm like, I can deal with that. So yes, I'm happy to have that. So I now can go as the 10th Doctor with my official sonic screwdriver, the suit, and I'm also going as a TARDIS again.
Very nice.
Yes.
Good job.
So it'll be fun times.
All right.
Which begs the question, Charlie, if you were to someday go to DragonCon again and cosplay, what would you cosplay as?
As I've stated many times over, I would cosplay as an anime character. I would either be Nicholas D. Wolfwood or Spike Spiegel. So Wolfwood is from Trigun.
Thank you.
Spike, of course, is from Cowboy Bebop. Those are literally the first 2 animes I ever truly watched. Outside of like the Americanized like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z. The Trigun and Cowboy Bebop were the first animes I owned.
So those were your gateway drug into your collection.
Oh God, yes.
Nice.
Oh God, yes.
So
and
what
then
is it about anime that gets your soul going?
The thing is, and I know a lot of people out there, they look at anime like, oh, it's just animation. Fuck this. I'm sorry. God dang it. This is silly. This is for children. And so, but
So's the show.
I know. But the thing is with the thing is the ability of some individuals to utilize anime as a
Anything you wish to share with the class?
sorry, hold on.
So I personally like anime because it gives a different. Usually, you know, you got the comedic, you got the action, but at least the animes I've watched, like lately, let's say like Kill la Kill or Sword Art Online, there's always some kind of like commentary about the social beings as us as humans and how we interact with each other. There's always that kind of commentary of society and people and expectations.
Well, I
always find that interesting that they can do. I think they do it. I think they do the whole social commentary and how we interact with each other and that type of stuff better than TV shows.
The thing is with anime or any animation is that one of the biggest issues that's happening right now is the whitewashing in Hollywood. One of the I cannot remember the gentleman's name off the top of my head, but there was a guy who's supposed to play an important role in the upcoming Hellboy.
Okay. Yep.
And he stepped away because it turns out that this gentleman is the character he was supposed to play is like half American, half Japanese, and so he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. This is stupid. But the thing is, when you do an animation, no one knows the color of your skin, the gender, your sexual preference, anything. If you can do an amazing voice, a convincing voice to add to the validity of the character on the screen, boom, you're golden. It's amazing. Like, I know a lot of people know this, but the voice of Bart Simpson is actually a woman. But the thing is, you wouldn't know that. And they actually, she actually did a prank on a pizza delivery guy, and the guy shows up and goes, hey, so I don't know if you know this, but I kind of work on a TV show. And he's like, oh, cool. And it's like, yeah, I work on this TV show on Fox. Maybe you've heard of it. The Simpsons. He goes, oh man, it's my favorite show. He goes, have you ever met the person behind the voice of Bart Simpson? He goes, no, man, that would be awesome if I did. And then she switched right into Bart Simpson's voice, basically saying, dude, you just did right now. You don't know. Yeah, I know it's kind of sad because when you are doing voice work, you are kind of this faceless person. No one's going to easily recognize you unless you slip into that voice, or perhaps it is your own voice, which is the case with Steve Bloom. That is his real voice, which is freaky as shit and awesome. But anyways, anime allows not only for anyone and everyone who can do a voice to be a part of a project, no matter, like I said, no nationality, race, whatever. Nationality and race is the same thing. Gender, whatever.
Some people might disagree.
Right.
I'm sure you can find somebody split hairs out there.
I'm sure there is. But the thing is, the other thing is, you can accomplish some of the craziest stuff with animation that you would not even be able to dream with live action. Anime can get some really crazy stuff going on. Some of it gives you nightmares. Some of it will leave you just your mind exploding.
Some of it's like, would you ever actually want an actor like trying to do the stuff they do in this anime? Probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
Like, Kill la Kill would not work as a live action show. It would be very weird.
Look, man, I have to. Weird Japanese art, tough sell to many American gamers. Right. Okay. So the thing is, if you are just the problem is, like I said before, as soon as you put something animated on there, a lot of people will discount it as, oh, well, this is for children. And let me tell you, right here, right now, and a lot of people understand this. Anyone who's actually watched an anime will tell you that if you let your kid watch just a random anime, you could be in a whirlwind of trouble. There is an anime called Apocalypse Zero, and if you let your children watch that, you are messed up in the head, because that is the most bizarre, perverted, like N17 TVMA thing you could
How about
do.
was it Ninja Scrolls?
Yeah, Ninja
Ninja
Scrolls
Scrolls
too.
is really messed up. Yeah, there's definitely some messed up animes out there. The other thing I like about animes is they typically are very serial. So it's like you have like overarching storylines. You know, I have the individual episodes like with its own self-contained, but typically it's not like NCIS or SUV, where it's, you know, they're...
SVU.
Thank you. I was like, I'm not saying that right.
SUV is subcompact vehicle unit or something, whatever.
Well, you know, SVU victims end up in SUVs.
Right.
So that's, you know, the very self-contained episodes versus anime, typically it's the opposite, where you get seasons of stories building on building on building. And I love that in my television series, which is something that, you know, has become much more popular too, is serialized television.
Right.
It's totally a thing now. But anime's been doing that for a long freaking time.
Absolutely.
Serialized television shows.
The thing is, now don't get me wrong. I mean, animes suffer through the same thing that a lot of TV shows do. They find a working formula and they basically just change a couple little things and then try to sell it off as its own. I mean, for the love of God, the robot / mech with a human inside battling some kind of alien anomaly or something. Oh dear Jesus, there is so many of those out there.
I feel like the other weird thing that happens with the animes is like they'll make like a season or two and then like for like it seems like no reason it just stops. Like how many animes are out there? Extremely popular animes, you know, ones that like if they're in regular network television would totally get renewed because like the ratings are out of the roof. And for whatever reason, it just stops. Like no news. It's just like, oh yeah, there's no more season 2 of this anime. And it's like, why? But it seems like that happens a lot with animes, where they just don't finish it for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. Sorry, I've got I'm sorry. As we were stating, AWA's happening, Dragon Con's happening, and a bunch of sports events are also happening downtown. And it just turns out that my dad is trying to sell his tickets for one of those sporting events. And I was just talking to one of my friends who's a huge fan of one of the teams playing, and he is beyond pissed because he paid a ton of money for like nosebleeds, and I was going to be able to give him like super duper awesome like exclusive seats for value.
So what he should do is buy those tickets and sell the nosebleeds back.
That's what I said. But anyways, so yes, anime, like I mean, Sam, you're right. Weird Japanese art. Once again, I think the humor is also hard to sell.
Yes, you get these animes where like they're humor show. You know, we have our comedies like The Office is popular, 30 Rock. You know, that's American humor. But then you get the Japanese humor, and it's a very different. I don't personally enjoy Japanese humor. I'll be the first. It doesn't do it for me.
Well, you're also the same person who doesn't like, what's it called, canned laughter?
Yeah, laugh tracks make me want to
laugh tracks, right.
gouge my eyes out and my ears. Yeah, so you're right, I don't. But yeah, it's that type of humor just doesn't do it for me, and I think it's probably cultural. I mean, I didn't grow up with that, so for me, it's so jarring, where it's like, eh. But somebody who grows up in that environment, that's what they enjoy and that's what they know. So yeah. Like, what was it? Fairy Tale. That to the tipping point of too much campy humor of that style, but it was serious enough where I could continue watching the entire thing. And it's great anime and kid friendly, unlike our show apparently.
Right. Anyways, we were speaking about cultural differences, and one of the funny things, and this goes beyond anime, it goes beyond basically everything. This is something that actually revolves around just video games. One of the huge factors about video games is that in different cultures, different colors means different things. So if you were to actually play like Kingdom Hearts over in Japan or maybe Middle East, the main character, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. the dude with the Keyblade.
Yes, Sora.
Sora, totally different outfit. The same look, but the color scheme totally different depending on where you are.
Well, it's a big thing. Like in if you watch Far East martial arts movies, typically there's a lot of color symbolism in the movies. But I think as Americans, like that culture, color means a lot. To us, we see color. I don't think color to Americans, as far as its symbolism in movies and art forms, has necessarily the impact.
Well, I would disagree with that. I think that there are certain colors that we subliminally have like feelings and thoughts of. Like when you see, it's like why when you work in corporate America or a lot of places in the U.S., people paint walls a specific color. Some people find, in the U.S., they find it soothing.
Sure.
In the Middle East, they probably find it as aggressive or some shit like that. Sorry, something like that. I'm sorry, I'm really trying to keep my cursing to a minimum, and I apologize. All right, let's get into this show. And the first thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I know that a lot of you out there have already heard about this, and you've probably heard a lot about this, but Hurricane Harvey has literally obliterated a good amount of Texas, especially in Houston. And we just want everyone to know that our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected by this hurricane. Real quick, Ling Ling from Draw Together was, it's a panda from a cartoon that's making fun of anime.
I don't know any pandas.
Anyways, so our very good friend, the Angry German, lives in Houston. He is safe.
Good.
I checked on him several times to make sure that he's safe.
He got flooded last year, remember?
Yeah, that was just a flood. That was just a random ass flood. This time, this
is a flood.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
I'm very impressed by some of the individuals out there. JJ Watt has already reached his $10 million goal. He set it at $200,000, and it jumped that and went up to 4. And then he's like, all right, well, let's do 10. And they have already met 10. So phenomenal, awesome. I know that the Arthur Blanks, Foundation, that's it, Arthur Blank Foundation. Arthur Blank, of course, is the owner of the Atlanta Falcons and, of course, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, the brand new stadium that just opened up. He just threw a huge wad of change on the table. The owner or part owner of the Tennessee Titans put down $1 million. Now, of course, for those of y'all out there who are trying to do, kind of like a history lesson here, once upon a time, there's a team called the Houston Oilers. Houston Oilers moved up to Tennessee, became the Tennessee Oilers. They got rebranded as the Tennessee Titans. So there is a history between those two locations. So the owner or part owner of the Titans gave $1 million towards Houston, and I think probably added it to J.J. Watt's fund. Now, the amazing thing was there was a mattress company, a sale room type place that basically opened up the doors to anyone who could get there. And once they reach your capacity, unfortunately, they had to turn people away. But he's like, look, if y'all could get here safely, come. You could, use the furniture, use the beds. We've stocked as much food and water as we can. Come. Let's be safe. There are certain individuals who are being total
asshats.
Asshats, sure. I think that's a safe word.
It's Simpsons worthy, man. If you can say it on Simpsons, you can say it on the show.
There you go. That people are literally trying to destroy through social media. A certain evangelist.
Damn it.
I know. Now I can't.
Now I can't say it.
Evangelist. There it is. A certain evangelist that he's a huge ass church. Says that he will open up the doors once every other location is full.
Oh. How do you know when every other location is full?
Exactly.
Is there like a Twitter feed of like? Of
yeah. Of course. There's an emergency hotline and Twitter and a Facebook page that says, oh, by the way, every place is at full capacity. You can open up your doors now.
And sometimes it puts in perspective like how lucky we are.
True.
I mean, you think about, if you have your house, I have my house, and like if I lost that, that's like everything I own is in that house, which means now literally you're starting from scratch. And if you don't have flood insurance, I mean, what do you do? I mean,
that's the biggest problem, though. Areas that are susceptible to hurricanes, if you moved into those areas, they no longer offer flood insurance as part of your insurance plan, simply because they know there's a very high chance that there's going to be flooding, and if there's enough of it, say like a Katrina or a Harvey situation, that insurance company could go belly up.
Yep. So it's terrible. It's devastating. I mean, losing everything, and you're talking about Houston. It's like the 10th largest city in the United States.
Right.
And basically being, and you can see on the footage there of how flooded it is. It's just,
that's a highway, by the way. That's actually a bridge for the highway. That little white stripe there.
It's insane.
I know. So once again, our thoughts and our prayers go out to all those affected by Hurricane Harvey. If any individual out there can spare some money, please donate to any of the organizations or plans out there that are trying to help out the individuals. I know a lot of people want to donate to the Red Cross, and I am not going to stop you from donating to the Red Cross. I personally would find another organization other than the Red Cross to donate to, simply because I've heard of the horror stories of how the Red Cross actually doles out their funds. So, if there's like a local, Help Houston Out charity fund, do that. There's a huge push for diapers. There's a huge fund that's being built for diapers. Or hell, just Google J.J. Watt Houston Fund and just give it to that.
And J.J. Watt, if anybody tries to screw through the money, J.J. Watt will just go punch him in the face.
No, he won't punch him in the face. He will end your life.
Yes. I would not
just a punch, man.
He's like One Punch Man.
He didn't even have to punch, dude. He probably could look at some people and they'd fall over and die.
I would. I'd be like,
I'm done. All right, peace out, guys. Been a good run.
He's like one of those people who's like all nice and friendly, but if you piss him off,
yeah. He is a snuggly little bear until you piss him off, or you meet him on the battlefield.
No thanks.
And then you dead.
Yeah, I like my life.
All right. So once again, Hurricane Harvey individuals, please. Hopefully everything is safe. We love you, and let's go. Up one. Up one. Up one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, since we're talking about donations, it's a little bit different, but at the same time, kind of in the same vein. That, of course, is Extra Life. Extra Life is a charity organization that basically rounds up funds for the Children's Miracle Network. That basically is a network of hospitals children hospitals. That all the donations that go through this, first of all, are tax deductible. Second of all, they go straight to those organizations. Alter Confusion has and will forever be basically pulling on those donations for Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, because that's been a huge, huge factor in anyone's life who's been in Atlanta. Of course, for my family, especially, my son's been there, I've been there, my sisters have been there. I believe my nephew and niece have been there. I know some friends and their children have been there. It is very important that we help as much as possible, even if it's just a little bit. If we could do that, if we can help, because the thing is, Children's Healthcare Atlanta, they have a phenomenal program for those individuals who have a hard time paying for cancer treatment or some types of operations, and this just helps them. So if you can spare a little bit of money, that would be awesome. I, of course, will be making my donation, of course, to the Ultra Confusion Fund, just so I can pump up it anyways. But I'll be making my usual donation. I believe, I know a lot, it's kind of like passe or whatever to just say how much you're going to donate, but I'll be donating $50. Because that's what I do every single year. I donate $50 to Extra Life, because at the bare minimum, if they get that $50, that makes me feel good. It would make me feel even better if all the individuals who are watching this or either live or recorded, perhaps, or listening to it in the audio version, could donate just a little bit. That would be freaking amazing, and it would make my day, and I'm sure it would make Zealeus' day as well.
Can I donate? Batman.
Sadly, no.
Then a kid could play with Batman.
Sadly,
Maybe
no.
this is what he
if
needs.
you're looking for donating
here.
of toys or anything along that matter, then you should check out Child's Play, which of course is the charity organization run by Penny Arcade, and of course one of the hospitals that's part of that program is Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, which of course is also called Scottish Rite.
For the kids, man. It's all about the kids.
For the kids. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the actual show.
There's a show? We're not just going to ramble about anime?
All right. I'm just going to read this title because I know the audio version's not going to hear it unless I say it. And, of course, those who are viewing it probably just want me to say it anyways. Don't be a dick. Support cosplayers. Don't tear them down. I don't know how difficult of a concept this is. But if someone has the cojones, either metaphorically or for real, to create a costume, any type of costume, could be a beginner's looking costume all the way to like professional level, holy crap, I can't believe you made this costume.
Basically, Jessica Nigiri.
Yeah. Support them. Say how awesome it is. Yes, if you have a negative or degrading comment, keep it to yourself.
Can I ask a question, though?
Yes, sir.
Why do you have a picture of Mr. KFC up there?
That's Colonel Sanders Jedi.
Okay, I couldn't tell from this far away.
No, yeah, he's got a lightsaber.
I see it now. It needs to be lit up.
I know.
Darn, criticizing the cosplayer.
But yeah, exactly. God,
jeez,
man, jeez.
That was lesson not what to do.
Hello, exactly. The thing is, I understand, a lot of people are like, well, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. It kind of applies to this. But the thing is, look, I will be the first one to tell you, I have seen some cosplay stuff that's put together that I'm like, wow, that's not really all that awesome. However, when I reflect on that, I'm like, yet that individual had the cojones to actually make that costume and come to the convention, and I'm still scared to death of even attempting that, so what the heck am I even complaining about?
It's the golden rule. If you do cosplay, you want people criticizing what you're doing. Do you? You want people tearing you down, make you feel like shit? Or do you want to build up the community and make everybody feel good about themselves?
No, the funny thing is usually when you get the hate, it's usually from individuals who don't cosplay. When individuals of cosplaying view a costume that you could see is amateurish, perhaps a first try, they either say, either great job or, hey, I've got, if you want to, I've got some cool like YouTube videos that might help you with the next version of your costume if you want to take it to the next level, or perhaps some pointers or something. It's amazing. A lot of the nerd groups are actually, if you attempt, honestly attempt to do cosplay or to play video games or whatever, or watch anime or read comic books or something like that, the vast majority of the individuals within that little nucleus are very helpful. Are there a couple asshats? Absolutely. Because some people can't get by without trying to tear someone down to make themselves feel important and pretty.
Well, the thing is yes, don't be a dick to cosplayers, but
don't be a dick to anyone, period.
It's always been that way, though.
Right.
It's no different with cosplaying versus playing sports and being nice to your fellow teammates or not being a bad sportsman to the other team. It's the thing with cosplayers is typically there's the social media aspect to it.
Right.
Where with pictures or Instagram or Facebook or however your medium for communication is, and I follow a fair number of Instagrammers, I follow cats and cosplayers on my Instagram. That's literally all I use Instagram for. Best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. But, you see people posting, great objectively phenomenal cosplays that people post, and people are still criticizing them.
Oh, yeah.
And there's people who, like, BlizzCon's asking to go do cosplays for them because they're so great.
They're being sponsored by Blizzard to create a new costume, or they're sponsored by Riot Games to create a League of Legends character.
And people are still criticizing them. I'm like, really? Like, what have you done lately with your life that gives anybody the platform to do that? I'd like to see you go out there and try to do any type of cosplay for that matter, because obviously if they knew how hard it was to do that, they would shut the hell up.
True. True. And I just, look, once again, if someone has the cojones to show up in a cosplay, they deserve your praise, not your belittling and hate.
And on the other end of the spectrum, let's always never forget that cosplay does not equal consent. And if you see a wonderful cosplayer at a convention, you're more than welcome. Well, look for their body language first. Yeah, first pay attention to their body language. And, if they're eating dinner, it's probably not a good time to go ask.
If they're just walking around, you can ask.
But
can remember, I take a picture with you?
That doesn't mean, get all happy and go grabbing parts you should not, or even making remarks like, hey, honey, you want to come up to my room? No.
So basically, the moral of the story is when you see Zealeus walking around in his Doctor Who costume, do not try to grab his ass unless first asking him.
You're more than welcome to ask. Yes.
There you go. See? But ask.
I do have an open... Actually, that's going to sound awkward.
You gain consent before doing. Okay? That's it. All right, let's move on to the next one. This is a shout out to one of my favorite authors at the moment, Dan Jolley. Dan Jolley, mastermind behind the Grey Widow
You seem
trilogy.
very confused. Is that really Dan Jolley?
No. Every single time I say it, I have to do a double take because when I did the interview with Dan, I accidentally pronounced his last name incorrectly, and I got schooled on the video.
How are you pronouncing it originally?
Jolley.
Okay.
It's Jolley, by the way. It's Dan
Jolley.
Dan Jolley's got a huge, he's got a pretty good library of titles he's been a part of. However, his basically the series that I am absolutely 100% hooked into is the Grey Widow trilogy. The first 2 books are out, and they are available today. You can get them, of course, in paperback version or an e-reader, depending on what your preference is. It is awesome. Of course, it takes place in Atlanta. And it is the entire series is centered around a very strong and independent heroine who will kick the crap out of anyone and everyone who gets in her way.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, my internet's been out the last week. Finally got fixed yesterday. I read 2 books in a week. It was great.
Nice.
I'm like, wait, I have no internet? What am I going to do? I guess I could read again.
Did you read the stuff that the paper with you can actually touch it?
No, I just read My Cat's Fortune all week. Over and over, and I saw there was going to be a lot of sleeping.
Those true lines on the paws.
Ooh, yes. And then the nails come out and it's all over.
Yeah. Anyways, go to Amazon and just type in Dan Jolley, and it will take you to his writer's page, and of course, then try to center onto the Grey Widow series. It's called Grey Widow's Walk, and Grey Widow's Web are the first 2 books.
I'm not going to read till the trilogy's out.
The third and final book will be coming out May of next year.
Yeah, I'll be waiting till May.
Speaking of delays.
Delays?
I'm gonna be completely frank with you. I have lost contact with Game of Thrones.
If anybody says any spoilers, we will hunt you down.
However,
and do something.
The final season, they're actually thinking that they will make each episode feature length.
Wow.
When they do that, however, means that it will be pushed to 2019.
Wow. That's insane.
Indeed.
You know what, though? It's kind of like the old Blizzard motto. I have faith in them.
Yeah.
So, if it's going to be that phenomenal with those episodes,
take your time. Let's do it.
Do it right. Do how you want to do it. And that's the cool thing that they're doing. It's kind of like the luxury of having anime where you can do some crazy things. It's kind of like HBO. With the Game of Thrones and the way they're doing them, now looking at doing these feature-length episodes, they have the luxury of doing that. It's not like ABC where it has to be 43 minutes and another freaking crime procedural. No, it's
41 minutes.
Oh,
No. 42. 21 is for 30 minutes. 42 is for the hour.
Thank you.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid. Just give me the whole thing and then, slap me upside the head with commercials subliminally or something. I don't know.
They already do that.
I know. All right. The next one, this is kind of in the same vein, is suck it up, guys. Sometimes women are better at games than us.
No, they're not. Nobody's better than games than me.
Sure. Keep telling yourself that.
I do. Every time I yell into the microphone that you're a stupid idiot.
So, I know that this has been said, I don't know, like a bajillion, 97 quadrillion times, but gamers are gamers, okay? In my personal opinion, if you play a game, no matter how simplistic or complex it is, you're a gamer. Okay. Also, no matter what gender you are, if you are considered a gamer, then you are a gamer. If some chick absolutely beats the ever-living crap out of me in a game, more power to her. Also, if a chick goes up against me and I beat the ever-living tar out of her, well, she's just another opponent. So here's the deal, guys. Treat every individual you play against as just another gamer.
What if I'm mean to everyone I game against? What if I'm just an overall troll to everybody I play with on the internet?
Then you need to, and this is pun intended, need to just play with yourself.
I could drink to that.
But seriously, look, I watched the leader of my clan for Smite goes by the screen name of Derpy Bear. She, of course, is a very, very skilled Smite player. She would wipe the floor with me. Do I think anything else besides the fact that she's an awesome gamer? No. Do I think because she's a woman that I should be able to somehow overcome her? Maybe if I practice the crap out of myself. However, she is dating probably one of the best U.S. players of Smite in Barracuda, so I'll probably never be able to surpass her.
So you're saying is you're stalking Barracuda through her?
Sure, yeah, okay.
That's what I mean.
Now, actually, I'm stalking her through Barracuda.
Ah!
Anyway, but seriously, anyone who has the cojones, once again, physical or metaphorical, to come up against you and potentially kick the crap out of you deserves your respect, no matter who they are.
I think where a lot of this comes from, especially, we're probably talking mostly about PvP games.
Right.
And kind of what I've seen, at least in Overwatch, is so you have competitive league. And 6-on-6, when you have your teammates, it's very easy to lash out at your teammates, especially if your team's not doing well. And it's very easy, if one of those is a female,
To double down.
And start using very misogynistic words and epithets at this person. So you're playing your online video games, the ratio of males to females isn't that out of whack for your video games.
You'd be surprised.
There's a very strong, the number of there's a lot more females playing than you think there are. And there's a very good reason for it. One is because, not the majority, but it's the case where you get just a few douchebags here and there who basically make a woman feel less than they are because of the way they talk to them. And two, they send them dick pics. Anytime you're in an online forum or any place where you can get media pictures, guys like to just be terrible people. Because they're female, they think they now have the guy thinks they have the right to basically be explicit in ways they wouldn't otherwise. Harassed, yes.
The thing, like Zealeus was saying, it's interesting because of like the ratio, because it's a lot closer than anyone, I think a lot of gentlemen and maybe just the populace in general would believe. A lot of women, just as men, find online competition as kind of like an escape. And a lot of those people, it's unfortunate, but the vast majority of the time, they won't do voice speech simply because they don't want individuals to treat them differently. They want to treat them on the same plane. You've got when you're playing like an MMO, you have a lot of females who play as male characters simply because they know that just because the stereotypes are like, oh, well, a chick would never play as a guy. Some of the best Halo players are female. Halo and Overwatch players are female. You just wouldn't know it because they don't use the voice chat.
But it also goes back to entire socio conversation about women and men. And when you're raised, I'm very broadly speaking here, obviously. When a man, when they take the power and control, they're seen as being leaders in the workplace. When a woman does it, they're seen as being a bitch.
Yeah.
I've seen it where, like almost verbatim, when a man says, "Oh, taking charge," and then the woman does it the next day, and now she's that cranky woman who's on her period. I've heard it before. I'm like, really? Like, the guy just did that same thing yesterday, and everybody thought it was the greatest thing ever. And so I think there's kind of that also expectation. Women have kind of been trained, unfortunately, to kind of keep their mouth shut sometime because there's a different gender expectation.
True.
And we're going off way the rails here.
And I'll fully admit that there are certain things, even to me, I try to treat anyone and everyone as my equal. But there's still some times where I have these, apparently I've got these stereotypes buried deep in my brain.
Sure.
That'll trip me up. And I'll fully admit, right here, right now, it is beyond, and I don't know why I would even think this is a terrible thought. But in my brain, the stereotypical stuff, blah, 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 the stuff I was taught, it is beyond bizarre for me to see a woman mow her yard. I'm like, what? Does she not have a man in her life? Which is terrible, terrible, terrible.
But you're right. I mean, that is, the Dunwoody, Sandy Springs, whatever environment we were raised in. That was, the morning, the dad and the boys got up and mowed the lawn.
Right.
I mean, it was very much a gender thing.
Yeah.
And I think back and look around the neighborhood, I never saw a woman mow the lawn because that's just not what they do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, this is a whole... So where this whole thing kind of comes from, there was a Wired article that was talking about the study of, kind of how women are treated in games. And the interesting thing that part of what I thought was interesting, which I find in my personal experience with online games to be like, reflect on, be like, yeah, that sounds about right, is guys of low skill level playing against another female player, they have a tendency to lash out against that person in a misogynistic fashion. Whereas a male player with a high skill level is not nearly as likely to lash out, even if they're beaten. And I kind of look back, at some of the MMOs and first-person shooters I played. I'm like, that sounds about right, especially in MMOs. When you get to the really high levels, it's like we have come to have a very high respect for that female because we know that she has to be really good to make it to that level. And so we come to respect her, whereas I could see, some of those, especially the low-level dungeons, where people aren't quite as skilled and they totally lash out in not appropriate ways.
So one of the individuals who's doing this study, which actually was published in a scientific journal called PLOS One, PLOS1, that's ONE, is a professor at the University of New South Wales.
I assume this is a real university.
Yes. Basically, it says men who may already be losing in the game don't like women encroaching on their turf, and their tactic of choice is harassment. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just play. Just play. If you get your ass kicked by a woman, then you got your ass kicked by a woman.
Go L2P. Learn to play.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to the next one. This one's going to just be a quick shout out, and that, of course, is Big Fandom Greenville is happening November 17th through the 19th, 2017 in Greenville, South Carolina.
I thought you were going to say New Jersey.
New Jersey, no. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, once again, this is going to be the second time of the Big Fandom Greenville. Ultra Confusion was in the inaugural Big Fandom Greenville. Had a hell of an amazing time. Met some amazing people, authors, artists, actors, and everything. So if you have the ability to be there, go to Big Fandom Greenville, and I'll see you November 17th to the 19th.
It's the weekend before Thanksgiving. What else are you going to do?
Hello?
You can probably find some turkey somewhere, too.
It makes your travel to your family a little less awkward because you will have a lot of release of awesomeness and cool stuff happening before you have to meet your family.
There you go.
All right, moving on to the next one. All right, this is kind of like a duh thing, but Nintendo continues to basically stomp on the balls and dreams of everyone out there, and that is the fact that the popularity of the Nintendo Switch continues to soar into the atmosphere, into space. And yet, The supply is nowhere near the demand. Now,
somebody did not learn the first law of economics.
so here's the deal. Numero uno. Apparently, the factories aren't able to keep up with the demand because the initial call for inventory was a little low. And so now they're trying to play catch up. Now, of course, in the U.S., you just can't find it anywhere. In Japan, it is so bad, the scarcity is so bad that they actually have a lottery system in place to allow for individuals to have the chance of getting a Nintendo Switch.
Hey, what is this chance, I wonder?
I don't know if they actually said or not. No, they didn't.
It is kind of amazing.
Sorry, 1 in 10 chance.
Well, it is amazing how Nintendo continues to do this. It's not the first. It's not like this is the first time this has happened either.
It's the Wii.
Yeah, they have a history of coming up with something awesome.
3DS.
And
Ironically, the Wii U had no issue.
Well, it's because nobody bought the Wii U.
Anyways, but the moral of the story is, if you somehow find a Nintendo Switch, you buy that and you immediately put it on eBay and you rack in the money.
So what I should do is I see some at schools. I should go steal them from all
No. They got to be in box.
Oh,
they got to be boxed.
So don't steal from kids, is what you're saying.
No.
Okay.
Unless no, not going to go there.
Kids, don't steal from kids.
When the parents are not looking, you just take it out of the cart. No, I'm not condoning that. No. Anyways.
You heard it first, kids, take it out of the cart.
No. Anyways, but so this is old news. But as the holidays are getting closer and closer, do not expect the ease of finding a Nintendo Switch to become easier.
You know how you have like the Black Friday stampedes?
Yep.
For the crazy sales?
Yep.
We're going to see a Nintendo Switch stampede. It's going to be that Walmart. If you get there at midnight, you're going to be able to have a chance for one of their 10 Switches. That's 5 times 2 people. And you might be able to get one of their Switches. But there's like 8,000 people for those 10 Switches.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like, hopefully eventually, like, you see it every year. For Black Friday or Walmart or some other big chain thinks it's a great idea to basically have like a all-out stampede for the best sales, and inevitably somebody gets like trampled or dies or something terrible.
Every single there are items hidden throughout the store that will have raffle tickets. Upon buying, you can then utilize the raffle ticket, but you have to stay in the store for the hourly drawing. Ooh. If you are not present for the raffle, you forfeit, and another raffle ticket is selected. I swear to God, this is what's going to happen. I just made this shit. Sorry, I made this up off the top of my head, and I'm almost 100% sure that some retailer is actually going to pull this.
Okay, about this? I think yours adds a few extra little hoops to run through. Mm-hmm. What if, just say you're open 12 to 12 hours, once every hour, a random person wins a Switch. Mm-hmm. No raffle or anything. It's just, you would need some way for a random individual to win a Switch. I like it. And it could be anywhere between that hour.
I know, but the reason why I say a raffle is that individuals who are interested would then stick around. If it's completely random, you don't
have people who sell raffle tickets.
Okay, well there you go, raffle tickets.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you give out raffle tickets, you have people like, I'll buy a raffle ticket for $10. So there's going to be like this black market for raffle tickets now. It's attached to your receipt that has your name on it. So they check your ID. I don't know. I mean, come on. But the funny thing is, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Don't copyright, trademark it, patent it, do what you got to.
Exactly. All right, let's talk about the Olympics in 2024, which apparently.
We use that logo. Can we be like sued by
I'm sure we're not selling it.
We're selling our show's popularity to make money to buy Batman.
No, that was actually a gift.
Okay, never mind.
But nice try. All right, so eSports is absolutely 100% in the crosshairs for being included in the 2024 Olympic Games.
What? But they're not really a sport, man.
But here's the caveat.
Oh, there's always a catch.
Okay, here we go. The competitive games based around playing football or other sports virtually, potentially over some of the more popular but violent esports staples that could go against what is defined as Olympic values, will be more likely to be chosen. So we're talking about FIFA, we're talking about Madden, we're talking about, I have no other idea, I guess Rocket League? Is Rocket League violent? The other thing is, what is your definition of violence? Because I'm pretty sure you could jack someone up in Madden and FIFA in a violent manner.
You just had an ESPN analyst who quit yesterday who was an NFL analyst because he was concerned over the concussions and he can't be a part of a sport that has so much violence in it.
Hello?
I'm just saying.
We're going to end up having Wii Sports.
Okay.
That's going to be ping pong and bowling.
I find it funny when you talk about the Olympic spirit, let's look at the Olympic spirit of Rio de Janeiro and how basically the entire populace of Brazil got totally screwed over by the Olympics with hundreds of millions of corrupt dollars that went to BS stadiums and lining the pockets of officials and other stupid stuff, when there's clearly hundreds of millions of people in Brazil who could have used a hell of a lot more help than stupid, pointless freaking
What about
stadiums.
the World Cup in Qatar?
Yeah, right. A lot of these cases, that's why I like to talk about the Olympics in Los Angeles. Because guess what? Los Angeles doesn't have to do a damn thing.
Look, I don't mean to be mean to any and every country out there, but if you do not already have the infrastructure to support a huge global event, then that huge global event should not go there.
It doesn't.
I'm sorry.
It just screws over your people. It's all it does.
You're going to put your city or your country in debt. You're never going to be able to recover. There's going to be a ton of stuff that you're going to have to pay out of your pocket to build, and then it's just going to go into rusty, haunted feeling because no one will use it after the Olympics.
The Atlanta Olympics was basically the last Olympics that actually made a profit.
Yeah.
For that local municipality.
Municipality.
Thank you!
You're welcome.
Axeltham says, I have a problem with the idea that a sport is playing a game owned by a company. Will we consider basketball a sport if you could only play in a Nike court with a Nike ball?
Nike. Jeez, Nike, not Nike. Jeez almighty.
That's a good point, Axel. That is a good point because the big thing with the IOC is the idea of amateur sports, and you're not kind of paying royalties or that amount. But let's just say that let's take a Blizzard game, for instance.
No, if you're going to go the amateur sports route, then, they've already corrupted themselves a bajillion times over. They're allowing for professional basketball players to play, professional, oh my gosh, I had some more in my brain.
Basketball, tennis players.
Tennis players. Hockey players, that's what I was going for.
Yes.
Professional hockey players playing. So that amateur status is, professional boxers are now in there. That amateur status has gone.
By the way, son.
Huh?
Yep. And he also says every esport is platform and game specific, ... So every esport can be changed or adjusted by the owning company.
True.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. The
true.
ownership. So now, yeah, because you got a couple things. You have the console. What console are you going to play on? And then you have Activision, EA, Blizzard, Riot, whatever company is going to do it. Whereas, if somebody like Blizzard is notorious for not liking people streaming their stuff without getting a cut of it. And just
doing anything with their products without getting
anything, yes. So that's a good point about that because
the other thing is, and I'm not saying that this would happen, but when you have a digital property, what's to say that a country wouldn't line said developers' pockets to give a certain team an advantage or disadvantage with a small little tweak that's almost unrecognizable?
We know with international games like this that the chance for cheating is definitely there. There ain't no doubt about it. I don't think anybody can deny that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Or hack, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is, when you do professional games, it has to be on a LAN. It has to be on a LAN. You do not have any access to the interwebs at all, because if you do that, or hacked by a third party, an individual who's in the arena.
Shoot laser pointers at the player's eyes. That'd be terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about esports at the Olympics. In addition to what else was doing, I just don't feel. And maybe I'm old and stuff. I just don't feel like it's a sport.
Get off my lawn!
In the same way that like other sports, even tennis or basketball or swimming, maybe it's because there's like an electronic component to it, and you're using a screen to play the game. I don't know. I just don't feel it. I just don't feel it.
Sam Grizzle says, Olympics was once about showcasing athletic talent, but that went away long ago with synchronized swimming and other ridiculous competitions. Might as well let esports in, I guess. And true, and that's the thing is, the reason why you're seeing a push for esports and all this stuff is that the individuals who are aging, who like that pure Olympic sports, are no longer the demographic. They're trying to pull in a new demographic to watch the Olympics, and one of the hot topics or hot pieces that's kind of blowing up right now is esports. Mm-hmm. So if the Olympics are smart, they've got to find a way to incorporate esports into it. However, there are a lot of hurdles, there are a lot of dangers, a lot of stuff that could go into that could literally decimate the Olympics with scandal. Now, not to be a complete douchebag, but the Olympics have already been completely riddled with scandals, and so is FIFA, for a long-ass time. So,
but if you also look at, or as we realize, or as Axel says, or we can realize that the Olympics is nothing but a money-making machine.
Absolutely.
But I think going back to your point, Axel, is, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
How much of the rules of international basketball changed in the last 50 years?
International basketball?
Mm-hmm.
Not a whole lot.
Versus, like he said, you have an eSport in 2024. Let's just say it's Madden football.
Right.
What's going to happen in 2028? Is it even going to be the same game anymore? It's, at least with sports, relatively speaking, you can be pretty consistent about the rule set from every 4 years to every 4 years to every 4 years.
Well, the thing is,
with the eSport, it's like, it's such...
Technically,
so
no,
much.
Because the international, the reason why you don't see that much of a change in the rule format for international competition is that the countries have to all agree internationally about this is the rule set. It's not up to it's not up to Naismith, who's long past dead, the creator of basketball, to be like, by the way, we're going to change this to a 4-point play and this and that. Everyone has to agree on that. That's why it doesn't change. Now, when it becomes esports, you would have to have individuals who actually understood the ins and outs of the actual game of choice. That becomes a little bit more hazy because the vast majority of the individuals who would be making these decisions, no offense to anyone out there, but are probably old fogies who are like, oh, you can play games on a computer? I only check my email. So that could potentially burn them. But to change international rules from one year to another, I would assume that once those rules are set, because the old fogies are going to be in power for a couple more years or whatever, they're just going to be like, whatever it was last time, let's just stick with it.
Whereas esports changes every 2 months.
Exactly, but internationally, they probably have to stick with what was done. If in 2028, they'll be like, well, whatever we did in 2024, it seemed to work, so we're just going to do that.
Which doesn't work for video games.
But that's the thing. You would have to have, companies would have to conform to that if they wanted to be highlighted and presented in the Olympics. You wouldn't be able to willy-nilly go, oh yeah, by the way, we changed the entire format. I'm sure you could do like rebalancing and stuff. I mean, technically, every single Olympics you're doing a rebalancing. Sometimes you replace runners or swimmers with better versions, or perhaps someone grows up a little bit, becomes more muscular, becomes more proficient in something, and they're better.
Well, you talk about the competitor, not the actual game itself. Two totally different things.
Let's say
I'm talking about changing the rules of the game, not the player itself.
Let's just say on her, Smite, Egyptian god, lion god. Let's say that in this version, he's OP'd, and then they play Smite again, and he's changed. Mm-hmm. The core mechanics are still there. You're trying to still destroy the Titan at the end of the game. However, on her has changed. It's the same as a swimmer changing.
No, it's not. The swimmer would be Barracuda. The on her will be the equivalent of a baseball because that's the mechanism with which you interact with the game.
Swimmers are changing their swimsuits all the time because of what the Olympics allow them to do.
The swimsuit is a much less drastic thing than
Are you sure?
Oh yes, than the character you're playing with.
I don't know. There are individuals who would make that argument that yes, the swimsuit makes a hell of a difference because you have those bodysuits, and you also have those little like bulb sucky things that apparently were like stress relief.
But a swimmer actually has control over a swimsuit. I have no control.
Barracuda has control over his character,
but he has no control what Riot does. Not Riot. Hi-Rez does to the character. That's a unilateral decision by Hi-Rez. Nobody else.
Then he chooses a different character.
I don't know.
He chooses a different bathing suit.
I'm not. I don't think I'm feeling esports at the Olympics anymore. I've decided.
Anyways, let's move on to the next one because we're kind of like running out of time here. Ladies and gentlemen, there's an amazing convention called AndoCon. It happened this past year. It took a year off, but it's going to be back March 9th through the 11th, 2018 in Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to be at the Peachtree Corners Marriott. If you are a board game player or a card game player or a RPG player, this is where you want to go. It's a lot of fun. It's not a very expensive ticket. It's just a lot of fun. I mean, really, it is a lot of fun. Zealeus and I have been to quite a few. I've been to every single AndoCon that's happened. They've always improved, and I can't complain.
I'm expecting lots of great board games and RPGs and quality times with everybody. And if there's not, I blame it all on Sam and Axeltham, I've decided.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. Speaking of esports.
More esports.
Esports. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a fan of Smite, this is your chance to kind of boost your character and your profile by doing the Smite Party Up weekend. Basically, what happens is starting tomorrow, Friday, September 1st, through Monday, September 4th, if you are in a party of 2 or more players, that means that I know that you play with 5 players it's 5v5 with a few exceptions. You actually have to party up with them, at least one extra person, so 2 or more. You gain double the favor, double the experience, and double the worshipers. Worshipers are utilized to basically upgrade your mastery of a character. Your experience is for level's sake, and favor is for purchasing of items. It's basically the in-game currency.
I believe you.
So, if you play Smite, there's your chance.
We had the same thing in Overwatch, and that basically because you get like to the pre-stage thing where you kind of see your team, and so you always join your party. Everybody like party up. And so that way you just roll over into party, into party, into party.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah. When I jump on Smite, I usually try to party with at least one individual, and then we try to get a couple games in, and hopefully maybe we could grab an extra person. And the thing is, with any competitive game, if you know the person, at least one person, you have a much better chance of succeeding in the end because you know what they're going to do.
Sure.
It's not a bunch of random scrubs, or you lessen the chance of running into a Leroy Jenkins. Jenkins! All right, ladies and gentlemen, there's an amazing thing called Patreon. Patreon is basically a chance for you, the lovely viewers, listeners, audience members, friends, fans, everything, to give back to Alter Confusion. Patreon is a monthly donation platform. You can donate any amount that you feel comfortable with. And of course, all that money goes to Alter Confusion to upkeep equipment, lighting, allow us to go to conventions. Currently, we have basically banked enough to go to Big Fandom Greenville, which I'm really excited about.
And then still do Thursday night podcast.
Well, we'll continue to do Thursday night hangouts on a very shoestring budget, but we would love the ability to maybe upgrade the webcam. Maybe upgrade the lighting, perhaps upgrade one of the monitors.
Upgrade the host?
Nah, I ain't gonna.
No? Okay.
No. Maybe upgrade the machine that the broadcast being put on.
There are upgrades we can make.
There's a lot of upgrades. But if you feel comfortable with giving a donation to Ultra Confusion on a monthly basis, please go to patreon.com/ultraconfusion. Now, if you want to do a one-time donation, you of course can go to the Donate Now button, which is directly below this if you're watching the live version. Or if you want to, you go to our website, www.ultraconfusion.com. There's a Donate Us button, or Donate Now button on the left-hand side of the webpage. You click on that, and it goes to the Ultra Confusion PayPal, which of course, once again, gets funneled into Ultra Confusion, which we could utilize for lighting, conventions, cameras, monitors, and all that stuff. So we can give you the greatest and best show possible. Now, of course, what we could also utilize that money for is the ability to perhaps outsource maybe the user interface of what the Thursday Night Hangout looks like, maybe
that thing.
The graphics,
intro, the music, the
web design.
Yeah, web design.
There's a lot of things potentially we could do that would improve Ultra Confusion for both us and you. So if you can, that would be amazing. No matter how you want to do this, if you want Patreon or if you want to do the one-time donation, that's phenomenal. If you do not have, thank you, Sam Grizzle. Sam Grizzle says you can't improve on perfection. Well, Sam, if you believe that we can't, then what I ask of you and anyone else out there is that when you see us posting that we're going to be doing a live show, or you see us post a video, share it with your audience, your friends, your family, your fans, whatever. The way that we will continue to succeed and grow this is when more people know it. Now, I, of course, can basically shout it from the mountaintop as much as I want to. But the thing is, anyone and everyone basically at this point knows I'm Ultra Confusion. Mm-hmm. So basically, trying to sing my own praises is very narcissistic, and people will tune me out. However, individuals like you have the ability and the power to show some validity towards the awesomeness that is Ultra Confusion.
Yes.
I do want to circle back on something real quick, and that's the Olympics thing. There is going to be an Asian indoor and martial arts game that's going to be happening next month, and there are a couple eSports games that have been greenlit to be shown, or competitions will be done during this, and those games are Hearthstone, StarCraft 2, Dota 2, and King of Fighters 14.
So, I have a totally different tangent.
Yes, sir.
I played the Destiny 2 beta yesterday.
And?
It is beautiful. It is beautiful, but I also remember why I don't buy AAA titles very often release. I'm like, let me go check out the website, Bungie. There's 7 different versions that you can purchase for the damn game.
But this has actually been the biggest qualm or issue that I've heard, is that currently you do not have access to your character across all platforms.
I don't care about that. Okay, I could buy the special version, the special deluxe version, special version. I'm like...
It's like the normal version, the special normal version, the deluxe version, the special deluxe version, the ultimate edition, the special deluxe ultimate version, or the super special ultimate version.
I'll be honest though, after playing the beta, I am actually tempted to buy the game now. It's well.
I just hope that there's more,
yes,
like meat to it than the first one.
That's why.
Oh dear God.
I'm tempted, but I'm still very tempted to wait until people are like, yes, there's actually stuff to do playing the game. Mm-hmm. They're like, okay, I'm gonna buy it because there's stuff to do in the game. Because that's still my big thing. Is like, I could just tell from the beta, yes, I would definitely enjoy playing the game. But as you point out, okay, I enjoyed it for 10 hours. Mm-hmm. Is there anything else to do?
Destiny is more. It should be more than a 10-hour game.
Absolutely. So I'm on the fence right now whether or not I am or not. Mm-hmm. But the beta was also compared to, which is kind of funny, because the original Destiny beta had actually a lot of content to the beta. Mm-hmm. Whereas the beta for Destiny 2 was very short. Very mm-hmm. polished, mm-hmm. but very short. You basically got the opening act, and you had one PvE strike and a couple PvP things you could do. So you got the try the game and play some badass weapons, but you didn't really get to customize it per se. So, it's going to be a hit. I could just tell that it's going to do well. The question is...
Well, especially since Battle.net is integrating with it.
Yeah. The big question is, what do they do with the content? And then they improve upon the first Destiny. And of course, they're also doing, just like the original Destiny, it's basically MMO without calling it MMO with a subscription. Because every, 4 to 6 months, there'll be a $20 expansion. Because that's just the way it is now.
Yep.
So, any closing thoughts from Charlie?
Nope, I think we're ready for our sign-off.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank everyone who tuned in live or watching.
You.
Or if you're listening or watching this in the recorded format, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. Understand that every Thursday night, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be doing this show. We greatly appreciate any topics and every topic and question that you provide for us, because that allows us to understand what you guys want to talk about. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another rousing round of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.